Hello everyone, today we'll be looking at the Pokemon Blokees Charizard articulated figure. This here is the box, which features Charizard in the front pretty well, and in the back it features the items that we get in the box, which is the Charizard, some accessories, and a stand. Now you do have to put this figure together, so here's a quick time lapse of that. Here we have a closer look at the Charizard, and we're going to start off here with the head. The head sculpting overall is really nice, and I think it really captures the details of Charizard really well. The printing of the eyes is also done really well. When it comes to the articulation in the head, it only moves up and down. The head doesn't move side to side, but that articulation is more in the neck. It's got 2 points of articulation in the neck, one at the base and one in the middle, and that allows the head and the neck to move freely all around. It's got really good range in that aspect. Another really cool thing about the head is that the mouth does open, and the tongue inside of it actually also articulates as well, up and down. This of course allows for more dynamic posing with this figure. Moving on to the arms also have really good articulation, which are on ball joints. One minor thing is that I do think the hands are a little bit loose, but regardless of which, all the arms have really good articulation. At the elbow, at the wrists, all really good range of motion. The fingers don't have any articulation, but that's not too bad at all, because the articulation it has is already pretty good. And of course, the articulation is the same on both arms. And here's just a good frontal view of the Charizard itself, really nice figure. The leg articulation is also really well, it's got a good range of motion at the knee and at the ankles, really good here as well. And the articulation is the same on both legs. The articulation allows you for the Charizard to have a much wider stance or a much more narrow stance. Now moving on to the tail, which also has really good articulation. I do want to point out Charizard's flame, which I also really like. They used the clear plastic, which I always like when they use fire effects. The sculpting of it is just really nice, and I like how the yellow and red blend together really well. The articulation on the tail just has a really good range of motion, being able to move up and down, as well as side to side just really smoothly. So that's just one thing I really appreciate with this figure, that the tail just has really good articulation. I also think that all the pieces blend in together really well. Now with the wings, they also have really good range of motion and articulation, moving up and down, and of course side to side. The articulation in the wings really do give it a nice flapping motion. So overall, this figure is just fantastic if you want to do like stop motion animation due to its articulation. The printing of the wings is also done really nicely, and the color blue that they used for the wings is also spot on. I also think that the color orange on this Charizard is spot on. The Pokemon logo is also hidden pretty well, and again, just the transition from the body to the tail all looks very seamlessly. This figure I think was done really well. Now here is a 360 look of the Charizard figure. The height of this figure is around 13 centimeters or 5.1 inches. The wingspan of this figure is 19.5 centimeters or 7.7 inches. And if you stretch out the Charizard all the way out from head to tail, it's 29.3 centimeters or almost an entire foot, 11.5 inches. Here's the first accessory that comes with the Charizard figure. This looks to be like a fireball or some flamethrower effect, which the molding of it is done really nice. And again, I just like the use of the clear plastic as well. The second piece is a fire blast attack, which we often see used in Pokemon. Another accessory that is molded pretty well. It also does a really good job at transitioning from the yellow to orange to red. The pieces do attach to this arm extension, which ultimately can connect to the base. I think the stand that is included with the Charizard figure is done really well. I really like the fire effects on this stand as well. It really does help the stand pop out a bit more. I'm not the biggest fan of stickers, but in this case it does work overall, but I will admit that the graphic design on the sticker is done really nicely. It is just a little bit of a pain to get the holes to align up. So the purpose of the stand is so you could add the Charizard and also add the accessories with it as well. Now here's a quick 360 look of the Charizard with the stand and the first fire effect. And here's a second 360 look with the second fire effect. Now comparing this Charizard to a more recent Charizard figure that we have gotten from Jazzware, I gotta say I do love this figure a lot more than the Jazzware's one. First off is the tail. I do think that the articulation and just the overall sculpting of it is much better on the Blokees figure as opposed to the Jazzware's one. And instead of using clear plastic for the fire effect on the Jazzware's, it uses more of that solid color. And like I said, I do like the clear plastic when it comes to fire effects. I just also like the little bit of extra articulation that the wings have as well, as opposed to the Jazzware's figure. The head sculpting on the Blokees figure is also much more superior. It really does capture Charizard's look a lot better than the Jazzware's figure, especially when it comes to the eyes. Overall though, as much as I like the Blokees figure, I still do think that the Jazzware's figure is a really good figure, especially for the price point. Both figures are awesome in their own respect. Now I also do wish I was able to compare this figure to the SH Figuarts figure, but unfortunately I do not have that Charizard figure. I do think in terms of articulation and molding, they're pretty similar. So if you weren't able to get your hands on the SH Figuarts Charizard, I think this figure is a good alternative for it. The amount of articulation and detail on this figure is one of the big main selling points for me at least. Having the ability to pose your figures in multiple ways is always so much fun. This is by far the best Charizard figure we've gotten in years, and with the reintroduction of Mega Evolution, I do hope we get a Mega X and Y figure as well from Blokees. For now, there's a Greninja, Ceruledge, and Florigato, which I do have as well, we'll be reviewing soon on the channel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Pokemon Blokees Charizard articulated figure. Leave a comment down below on what you think of this figure, or if you own this figure, and if you own both the Jazzwares and Blokees one, which one do you like more? Also leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions on any other figures I should review. With all that said, leave a like, share this video with a friend, and I will see you all in the next one. Taco, out.